If you are a SaaS agency, if you are reselling Go High Level, but you need to start getting your first few clients and you don't know how to sell, or you don't know how to make offers that sell, or you're just completely confused and complex and have had tons of failure when it comes to getting just your first few clients, this video is for you. I'm going to, in the next 20 to 30 minutes, walk you through the entire sales process, stem to stern, and give you an actionable set of tactics that you can go out and get your first few clients today. Let's get going. All right, how to get your first 5 paying clients. Then rinse and repeat until you hit 100 or even 1,000 if you want. First, if you like this content, if you like these videos, if you're enjoying them, please do me a favor. Subscribe, click that notification bell, and then, of course, the most important thing for me is leave a comment. I love to see the comments, the feedback, engage with you, and see if you even like the content, if it's hitting, the needs that you have to grow your business. All right, in this video, here's what we're going to cover. Number one, I'm going to teach you how to make your selling process incredibly simple in just 20 minutes, okay? It might take a little bit more than that, 20, 30 minutes, but I think we'll be able to cover a lot of ground really quickly. And then I'm going to show you how to find an offer that will actually help you land your first 5 clients. This is something that confuses almost everybody, and it's a lot more simple if you do what we're gonna do, or if you follow the steps in this video. And then last, and not, of course not least, this is the most important part, okay? I'm gonna give you a step-by-step prospecting method so you can go out and right after this video, okay? Right after today's training, you can go out and maybe even get your first client today. Now that's a lofty promise, a lofty goal, but we have to start somewhere. Now, some of you, if you are new to this channel, if you haven't seen any of my content before, you might be thinking, well, if it's that good, why would you even give away this kind of information? The larger goal that I have and that this channel is all about is supporting members of our community, of our product, and our Facebook group, okay? We serve people that are using HighLevel, that are growing SaaS agencies. And because I own a software called UpHex, I give this information away freely, knowing that if it helps you attain your goals in your agency, then eventually at some point in time, I win as well. So it is a win-win. But let's start talking about you first, okay? Because that's the most important part, is to understand who you are. Now, if you are doing SaaS, okay, if you're in the HighLevel community, you're using that product and you're trying to really, own a company and have the lifestyle that you thought you were going to have, okay, this is probably kind of the lifestyle, the laptop lifestyle you thought you're going to get. Then reality sets in and you're like, well, actually, none of this is working for me, right? Whether I'm having to take time to learn the tool, you do got to spend some time to learn your craft, okay? That's important. But once you do that, you're thinking, man, I have so much to offer. I thought this would be easier. And there you are, no clients. You think that selling is incredibly scary and you're seeing the sharks circle. And quite frankly, you're not sure if you're gonna make it. So today my goal is this. By the end of this video, all of this, that entire process will be a lot easier. All right, so follow me. We're gonna break this down and make it as simple as possible into 3 building blocks, okay? So we will start with this. Building block number 1, how to make selling simple. The first thing you have to realize before we do anything else, the number 1 thing, you have got to understand selling is a chemistry project, not an English paper, okay? And I'll explain what I mean here right now. Have you ever had a situation like this where, maybe even in your agency, you said, man, this is an amazing opportunity. I'm sold on the idea. I want to do this. I go tell my mom, dad, wife, friends, whatever, whoever it is about this thing I'm incredibly excited about. All right. And then they're like, Gary, your idea sucks. No offense. Right. Have you ever been really excited about something and really bought into it only to take it to the people who know you, who you have a good relationship with, only to see them shoot it down? Why does that happen? It's a tale as old as time. The big question is, why does this happen? Why is this behavior and this pattern so consistent throughout all of society? Why does this persist and go on and on and on? We're getting back to the point here. It all boils down to neurochemistry, to the person you're talking to, their neurochemistry. That is the thing that controls every conversation that you've ever been a part of. All right. Here's what I mean. Every person that you've spoken with ever in your life, including yourself, you have this too, has a preloaded story about almost everything. If they know about it, they have an assumption that controls the way they judge, the way they think, and the way they reason about something. Okay. These ideas, these stories, when I say preloaded story, that's an incredibly important thing because their thoughts on something is not just one black and white thing. It's very dynamic and goes in a lot of different directions. All right. They're installed using your neurochemistry and they persist using neural pathways. Okay. This is what kills almost every sale. The neurochemistry in somebody's brain. It's kind of like this. Imagine the side of this hill. Over time, it's got huge eroded grooves and valleys. And this is exactly what happens in the brain of another person. And what's crazy about this is you cannot alter these neural pathways using logic, using charisma, using a better argument. Like I can't argue my way and change somebody's, neural pathways and get them to see things my way. Arguing is, even if you have better arguments, okay, you're not going to change anything. And you can't even do it with a loud voice. Yelling over another person will never change neurochemistry. So what do you do? How does this all work? Well, let's go ahead. I've got a short little video here that's going to help steer us in the proper direction to find a solution to this problem.
You need someone to tell you stories that you believe to be true that conflict with your view of reality. The evidence of their story being truer than yours, that frame now wins, and that becomes the new lens that you see everything through.
Tell a story. Stories are the DNA of human biology. Stories control neural pathways. And when you can tell a story that beats that person's existing story, you can reprogram that software. You can change those neural pathways. Okay. So, we're not going to spend a ton of time on this. I think, when I look at some of the best marketers, I look at people like Russell Brunson. Okay. Actually, let's talk about Russell Brunson for just a minute. Okay. If you look at Russell Brunson, he's got the perfect webinar. It's an awesome, if you don't know about the perfect webinar, you should search it on YouTube and learn how to do a perfect webinar. But the whole idea is the content portion of your webinar has 3 parts. Okay. And the 3 parts divide up into 3 specific story types that people commonly have. It's a story about them. It's a story about the thing that you do. And it's a story about your audience, right? So they have these ideas and your job is to identify that story that sits in their brain and tell a story that beats that story. That's what the purpose of a webinar is. Identify their story, replace it with a better story. And you do that over and over and over again until you get to the point to where, wow, he just attacked my story in 3 different ways. My story is not true. And that's the big domino. Okay. So that's kind of a little bit of a side tangent. Let's jump back into the training here. All right. So tell a story. All right. Make selling simple by telling the right story, which leads me to building block number 2. What story? What story do I tell? Okay. It's easy enough to say, tell a story. And I think there's, books like Story Brand and people talk about telling stories all the time, but telling a story really comes down to what story needs to be told. All right, let's jump into this. Now, my 2 favorite quotes in sales, and I think I said this on another video, are number 1, find out what people want and help them get it. That's number 1, right? That's incredibly simple. Number 2, most sales are lost because the salesman or saleswoman presented his or her product before they knew what motivated the prospect. Okay? Meaning you're very quick to speak. What do these 2 things really boil down to? they divide into two parts. The first part is asking. The second part is asking. Okay. And it's asking in two different ways, meaning find out what people want and then help them get it. If you just ask superficially, you're not doing enough. So in the rest of building block number 2, we're going to really uncover how to do that the right way. Now, back in 2017, I did this consult for a real estate financial modeling company. Basically what that means, I didn't know much about what that meant at the time, but what it means is they show people how to appraise and value huge projects like this, sky rises, big multifamily, huge things. Okay. And they had a website that was getting a ton of website traffic, and to the tune of 30, 40,000 people per month. And their whole question, the reason they did a consult with me was, is there a way we could be making money off of this website with the amount of traffic that we have? Should we sell banner ads? Should we do things like that? And I said, well, let me ask around, because quite frankly, I don't understand what it is that you do. So let me do this thing called an ask campaign. And if you don't know what an ask campaign is, you can go ahead and Google Ryan Levesque plus ask campaign. That K is important, ASK, campaign. And you'll find out plenty about that. But the whole idea is to poll an audience and ask them a specific criteria of questions so you can collect that data and that feedback and then come up with what you think they're asking for. All right. So I asked, and here is what they wanted. They wanted a solution, a learning platform that, while their website was really good for educating people on how to do this, it's such a dynamic and huge topic that there's a lot of gaps that you could miss, meaning you might learn one part, but there's 10 other, consequences that might happen if you don't know the whole picture. It's kind of complicated. Long story short, what these people wanted was they wanted a course, and they wanted a streamlined way to learn this skill called financial modeling. And I told them that. And what was really interesting about this particular example was when I told the owners of the website, I said, well, they want a faster way to learn real estate financial modeling from A to Z. Like, they want a curated way. And they said, well, that's what we teach on the website. And I said, you do and you don't. If I wanted to learn, let's say I had an interest, I'd have to jump around and go all over the place, and I might not feel confident because I might be missing a lot of things. And they started to kind of see the whole idea after a little bit. And here's what happened. This is kind of nuts. By asking the right question, we went, and about 2 or 3 months later, it was January of 2018. We went ahead and launched a new product and did $116,000 of sales in 3 weeks, just by asking what people wanted. And again, all we did was find out what people want, and we gave it to them. All right. That's how simple this really should be. Selling should not be complicated. Okay. However, if you want to know what story it is, okay, don't overcomplicate this. Just ask. Just ask. Okay. Now here's what's really interesting about this framework, asking people what they want and then giving them the solution that they asked for. Alex Hormozi has probably the very best sales script training on the internet. I will link to that in the description below. It's incredible. And he goes through his process on how to, write a script and close a sale. And he uses this acronym, CLOSER, okay? Clarify why they're there, label them with a problem, overview the past pain, sell them the vacation, explain away their concerns, reinforce their decision. Now, if you really, each one of these steps by itself is incredibly clear, makes a ton of sense. But if you break it down to its fundamental parts and find out what is actually happening here, it's the 2 steps. It's asking and then giving them what they want. It's ask them, okay, why are you here? What do you want? Ask them, okay, get clear, So ask them more, ask them so much to the point to where you know what the stories are that are controlling their current situation. Okay. So ask. Number one, tell their current story. So this is still in the ask column. We ask them and then we get clear that we make sure, and then we tell them that, hey, here is what you're saying to me. All of this is in the ask foundation, that ask pillar. All right. And then you go, well, here's a new story. Okay. Now we're starting to tell a story that solves those things. So we're starting to pitch our solution, and pitching our solution. All we're doing is giving them what they want, but we have to give it to them using stories. Okay. And then filling in every crack that is going to surface as soon as they listen to our pitch. Okay. Tell the new story again. Okay. And then tell that story so concisely until that story turns into a new belief. All right. So number 2, okay. Just to summarize, ask them which story. Okay. Now this number 3, building block number 3 is the craziest one. These other 2, again, these are simple things to do. These really are not hard, but building block number 3 is probably the most simple, overlooked thing. And so I'm not going to tell it to you right now. All right. This is the fastest sales hack known to man. However, it is also the hugest stumbling block to any agency. Bar none, this is the number one thing that will sink you faster than anything else, is building block number 3. And you'll notice it's at the bottom of the stack. If you don't get this right, they all topple over. All right. I want to start this out. So at the beginning of my career, okay, this is called The Mortgage Broker Who Almost Failed, and the magazine that saved his butt and transformed near failure into a financial breakaway success. Okay. Back in 2004, I quit my job. I was newly married, just a couple years into my marriage here, and I had my first baby. And, I was obviously, as a new dad, there's a lot of responsibilities. There's a lot of things going on, and it kind of changes from when you're single, you don't necessarily, at least I didn't have the same direction, drive. But as soon as that happens, man, I had direction, drive, and responsibility, massive responsibility. And I had a whole bunch of friends that were telling me, hey, we're in real estate. If you go get your mortgage license, we will send you our business. We'll send you a bunch of, customers. You'll get, loans, you'll make a bunch of money. It'll be great. Okay. And so I said, all right, well, I can't work at the teller at a bank for the rest of my life making, I think I was probably making $12 an hour. I don't know. It was a long time ago, but, making those wages, I can't support a family with that. So I decided to go. I quit my job and I jumped in with 2 feet, and I started learning what it meant to be a loan originator. And what was crazy about that, as soon as I got licensed and was ready to go, I went back to my friends. I'm like, hey guys, what's up? How about those leads? There was a whole lot of hype, a whole lot of talk. And at the young age of 24, I was kind of up the creek. I did not know what I did, other than I thought I'd made a massive, massive mistake. And so I went into my branch manager. I asked her, hey, what do I need to do to get some to get some loans, to get some customers? She's like, well, just go to, the different commercial or the different real estate brokerages and meet and greet, network, and see what you can do. I'm like, okay, well, I'll do that. So I'd go around and I would meet all of these different people, and I didn't know what to say other than, hey, I do loans. Do you have any loans that need to get done kind of deal? Do you have any people who, need help? And I would say things like, I'll rush it. I'll focus on this. I'll give you the best service, like whatever it was, anything I did, it did not matter. I was new. I didn't know really what I was doing. And these guys, gals could see through it, and they were sending me nothing. And then one day I was sitting in the lobby of Century 21 Real Estate in Boise, Idaho. And I'm sitting there, and there are these magazines called, here in Idaho, they're called Homes and Land. I'm sure this is what it's like in other places too. I'm sitting there, looking at this magazine. I pick up the magazine and I start thumbing through it. Okay. And as I'm thumbing through, I'm like, oh man, look at those $1 million houses and look at that real estate agent. That would be nice if I could get that deal. That would pay me like 10 grand, that one loan. But that person would never work with me. I mean, I'm 24. I'm a kid. Like, they would never send their $1 million clients to me. So I go through, and there's always a reason why somebody is not going to send me their deal. I'm getting depressed until this happened. I came across a page with this real estate agent named Christina McNeil. And this is not a picture of her. I couldn't find a picture of her, or else I would have put it on here. But this is a representation. She says, "Hi, I'm Christina." On her page, on her advertising page, all of the homes listed were first-time home buyers. They were a lower price point, and even all the text is like, great for first-time home buyers, right? And then all of them also spoke Spanish. All right. So here was this light bulb moment that was happening with me. I'm thinking, well, hold on. I'm the age bracket of the people who are buying first-time homes. I'm really good. Like, I spent a ton of time learning those products, so I know them backwards and forwards. And I speak Spanish. I should go after this lady and I should say, hey, I think I would be a big advocate for you. I think it could help you out. So I called her up and I said, "Hi, Christina. My name is Sam Carlson. I noticed in Homes and Land magazine that you work with a lot of first-time home buyers, and then it looks like you work with a lot of Spanish speakers. If you'd be interested, I do speak Spanish, and I specialize in first-time home buyer loans. I know that can be hard for many banks to do that. So if you have anybody that needs a loan, I'd be happy to help you out." She sent me 5 deals that day. 5 deals that day. And that changed the entire direction of my career after that. I no longer had any problem selling, and I never needed to network with other agents ever again. Okay. So here is what is so crazy about this. This is how I learned. I fell backwards into this lesson. It is not enough to find a niche. Okay. You have to find a sub niche. All right. So if we go through this story, I was going after real estate agents, any real estate agents. Okay. But then I decided, well, you know what? I'm going to go down for first-time home buyers. That narrows my pool a lot smaller. Okay. And then I'm going to go even more narrow and go to first-time home buyers who are Spanish speakers. See, most people think that real estate agents is the niche. If you stay there, you have not niched down. You are competing with everybody and their dog, and you are going to lose. Okay. But when you start with a sub niche, okay, here's the craziest part. That little pitch that I rattled off, I didn't prepare that. I just said, hey, here's specifically what I do. Your marketing becomes easy because you know what you're doing. Your offer becomes very valuable and very clear because you know who you're speaking to. And here's the craziest part. I made 1 phone call, got 5 deals, and then never had to basically network again. And so all of a sudden I became a sales genius just by doing that one thing, by sub niching down. Okay. I will tell you this right now. Had I told you to niche down at the beginning of building block number 3, 99% of you would have been like, oh, we've heard this before. This will make or break you. This will make or break you. This will make or break you. I think we're getting the point. Now, right now, you might be thinking, okay, hold on. This isn't that complicated. Could it really be this simple? So let's do this. Don't take it from me. Let's test this out on you, okay? Number 1, let's say we already know a little bit about you right now. Let's say you run Facebook ads to generate leads for local businesses. And maybe you're just HighLevel right now and you're selling other SaaS products like chat widgets or Google, GMB, all that kind of stuff, right? Maybe you're doing that. It doesn't matter. Let's just, suspend belief and say you run Facebook ads to generate leads for local businesses. Now let's say this. What frustrates you about running ads? What do you wish was different? And then you started to say, it's really frustrating when I get, over 20 customers, and then it just everything feels disorganized, and I have to make SOPs, and I don't know how to make SOPs, and then I get a media buyer in or a VA to run my ads, and they misspell something, and then my client says I'm stupid, and then they, I start getting leads, and then they stop getting leads. My client's the one who calls me about getting leads, and I look like an idiot because am I even managing the accounts? And I am, but these are all the kind of stories and situations that you're living. Okay, so I then tell you this story. I'm like, oh man. So it's a lot of work doing what you do. And it sounds like while you do a lot of work, it's really complicated. And although it's easy and replicatable, it seems like there's a lot of little steps that can trip you up. It seems like the operational side of this business is pretty challenging, isn't it? Right? Listen, I know what it's like to run Facebook ads for small businesses. I know how much they don't really appreciate what you do. And I know also that they don't know how hard it can be. Okay. I also know that when you started this, when you started running ads for local businesses, you thought, hey, I'll get 10 clients. I charge $1,500 a pop. Bam. I'm making 15 grand a month. I can live on the beach, and this is going to be amazing. And it didn't really turn out that way. Isn't that stinky? Here's the good news. Now I pivot over to the news story. I created this tool for agencies who use HighLevel, okay, niche, serve local businesses, niche down, and entirely automate Facebook ads built to generate leads, sub-niche. Bam, bam, bam. 3 different things that catalog that really narrow down to who it is that this new thing helps. So let's continue on with the story. Oh, and by the way, it creates Facebook ads in seconds. It makes 0 mistakes. You don't ever look silly again. An untrained VA can manage it just like you can plug in a person at McDonald's and have them slap together a burger. Same thing here, super simple. Or your agency clients can run the ads themselves in just 3 clicks. Super simple, no training required. You don't have to log into Ads Manager. It's white labeled and embeds directly into HighLevel. What about that? Right now you're thinking, oh my gosh, that's pretty dang awesome. I like the sounds of that. You see what I mean? You see how simple? Now I could have said, run Facebook ads in 3 clicks to everybody. And that would have been like, well, I'm a plumber. Am I going to run 3 ads myself? Well, actually you would want to sign up under an agency, because then the agency is going to help set up do the complicated setup process, but then install it for you. And then it's really not complicated either, by the way. Anyway, so let's recap. Okay. You guys pick a sub niche, do yourself a favor, stop trying to serve so many business owners. Anybody who says that, oh, just date around and see what you like and this, that, and the other. I mean, maybe for a month just to kind of see a lay of the land and what's what. But if you think you're going to win long-term going to everybody, well, you're smarter than me. So, I mean, best of luck to you. But for everybody who just wants a proven, easy way to do it, sub niche. It's the easiest way. All right. Number 2, find out what people want, then give it to them. All right. And then number 3, know what stories exist in that sub niche. Know their stories. Okay. So you can tell stories that sell. Okay. Know what stories to tell so you can tell the stories that sell. All right. That is all you have to do to sell right there, my friends. All right. So what do I do next? Well, at the conclusion of this video, I will make the Watch Them Sell video the next video in the lineup. And here's why. In that video, they walk through a very tactical way to do cold video outreach and then cold email outreach. If you pair those efforts, those tactics up with this new understanding, you'll crush it. You will be able to go out today, do 10 cold videos with this framework, crush it right away. Okay, so that's number 1. Number 2, the video that I talked about where Alex Hormozi talks about how to sell. It's the best video on the internet in terms of going through the steps, every step of a conversation, reverse engineering your success. I think it's definitely worth a watch. I will tag that one in I'll link that in the comment section below. All right. So that is your plan. That is what you are going to do next. By the way, if you've watched this video and you are a high-level user, please go over to uphex.com and see what that's all about. I think now you kind of know what that's all about. But if you're doing this and maybe you are not a high-level user yet, you don't know what that is, you don't know what UpHex is, you're just here and you're like, man, I want some laptop lifestyle. How do I do that? In the link description below, we have a page that tells you all about about HighLevel. Click on that, learn more about that, and then once you get that set up, come back, set up UpHex so you can have the 1-2 combo. By the way, when we combine those two things, HighLevel with UpHex, we call that bam, 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 super SaaS. Just so you know, that's my super SaaS. Let's fly, whatever. I don't know. All right, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.